Take a look at this stock market chart for Suzlon Energy. Now, there are enough signs to suggest that the stock is on a reversal trend for the past 2 years. In fact, in the past 20 or 22 months, the stock has given close to 450% returns to its investors. But is this enough? Is the business really showing a turnaround from the time when the stock was reduced to a penny stock? What are the major problems that Suzlon faces? What are the solutions that the management has come up with? What are the potential challenges that Suzlon will face in the future? And most importantly, should you invest in Suzlon Energy's stock? Let's find out in this video. Now, the major problem that Suzlon faces is a huge amount of debt on their balance sheet with no future sign of business growth. To tackle this problem, the Suzlon's management has come up with a refinancing plan where they are going to convert the debt, the loans that they have into equity. What that means is they are not going to pay back the lenders the amount of money that they owe to them. In exchange for that money, they are going to give those lenders a certain part of the company, a certain ownership percentage of Suzlon's company. Now, what that will do is it will help them reduce close to 4,100 crores of debt in exchange for a 35% stake in the company of Suzlon. Now, as a result of this, the ownership of the owner, the promoter of the company, Mr. Tulsi, goes down from 16 to 13%. The ownership of retail investors like you and me also goes down to 36%. On top of that, they are going to issue fresh loans from a company called REC, a par financing company, and they are going to give a 4% stake to this company as well. Now, Suzlon's management has said that in exchange for the money that they get from REC, they are going to use that money to repay all the other debt that they have on their balance sheet. As a result of this huge refinancing proposal, as a result of converting debt to equity, the stock jumped by 3% that very day. But understand this, conversion of debt to equity may not necessarily be good. It might signal that the company is not able to service or repay its debt, and it doesn't see any sign of that in the future as well, which is why it's converting debt to equity. But on the other side, it could also mean that the company sees potential of a turnaround, potential of business improvement in the future, which is why when that business grows, everyone benefits from that prospect. So, where does Suzlon lie in this entire arrangement? What are the future projections for Suzlon, and is conversion of debt to equity necessarily good for them? Let's find out. Now, in spite of all that, Suzlon management faces a huge amount of challenges in the future. For example, in financial year 2021, the company reported a loss of 400 crores as opposed to the total revenue of 1000 crores. Their net worth as of December 2021 is a negative 3400 crores. In fact, after all this debt reduction, after all the conversion of debt to equity, they still need to pay close to 450 crores in 2022 itself. All of this just goes to show that Suzlon's management has a very steep task ahead of it. They cannot sustain any bad cycle of the business performance in the future, which is why the business growth is absolutely necessary for them to sustain themselves in the long run. Now, if they do not report an increase in revenues on a year-on-year basis, the debt reduction plan will not result into anything fruitful for them in the long run. So it's absolutely necessary that while the debt has been reduced, focus should now turn towards growing the business in terms of sustainable revenue growth. Now let us talk about whether you should invest in Suzlon stock given the entire description of what we have just now discussed. Alright, so conversion of debt to equity is definitely a step in the right direction for them, because the first priority for them has to be debt reduction. Now, while that is now taken out of the way, focus, as I have just now said, should be towards business expansion and business growth. Right now, the signs of that are not very prominent. So right now, I would still stay away from this stock. But in case you're an investor who is keen on taking that additional risk and are betting on the turnaround of this stock, please make sure that you are aware of the risks that come with investing in Suzlon. This is an investment strategy that could very well lead you to exorbitant amount of losses if you are on the wrong side. Having said that, if your bet comes out to be true, it can also result to humongous amount of profits. Right now, I do not see stability in the business performance. Hence, I would like to wait until I see that happening, but I leave the final decision up to you. Alright, that's it from my end. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Please subscribe to Finance Lens, follow us on Instagram, and I'll see you the next time.